5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nixon in China versus when you learn Mozart or Rossini, your top priority, well for me anyway, besides learning the notes of course, is the struggle I worry about is memorizing all of that Italian russet. And so with Nixon, I think the memory of the words definitely was the first thing that comes first, and learning your notes of course, but you're in a whole other aspect of it because you're memorizing these unreal meter changes and rhythmic patterns. So that's the challenge I think that happens in Nixon in China, and the process that you have to tackle and still tackle when learning a role in Nixon in China.
Is changing and you're having to count the number of beats in a word instead of counting the meters. I mean, it's very odd how you have to learn this. And it's also a lot of like hearing it, listening for other parts, listening for cues in the orchestra, any sort of hint or anything that'll give you a cue as to when to come in or, you know, when to say your next word, basically.
Start by listening to the whole thing, like listening to how, especially the harmony, since I'm in between the two of you all the time, how I fit within that. And so I just had to get like the bigger picture first and then go back and literally like crazy with the piano beat out every single pitch.
Break it apart.
And yeah, break it apart. And it's interesting now going back that I think we've broken this down so much. Like we just staged, you know, however many pages, and we're like, oh, that doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
Like, so quickly. But we worked so hard on this one little thing, and then coming back now, looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's only 7 bars. I mean, why is that so hard? You know, spent so much time.
And I think that's what helps so much when working with Ward and our coachings is that we were able to come together. I mean, you can do so much on your own, but our roles are as one. When singing the secretary roles. So it makes much more sense when we were put together and just speaking rhythms over and over and the words and rhythm and a lot of repetition that happens. And I think that was so helpful and crucial for preparing the role.
Really are, from what I understand, one person. And Mao had one interpreter named Nancy Tang, and the way that this libretto was written is that the 3 women are really all versions of her, and we're kind of taking that idea in that he wants us each to create a different type of person. I'm more keep everything together, in charge, that sort of thing.
I think I'm good cop and she's bad cop.
I'm the bad cop.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as specifically in our dealings with other characters on stage, like our interactions, like, so Mal falls asleep and we each kind of, as we look to Danny, but yet as we look to Nixon, our reactions are different. Like, Jen's kind of like, out, and Holly's like, we got this, you know, and I'm kind of like, sorry, it's okay. Yeah. So I think we all have different colorings, and especially when you talk to the journalists too. I think you're in charge, and
yes.
So I think that's going to be interesting as we get into that more to see how different we're allowed to be, you know.